What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosa. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, what's happening, buddy?
Nailed the intro again. I'll never get tired of that.
What's going on today?
The world of news just keeps on rolling, and just when you think it's done, it just keeps going.
Oh man. All right, coming up on today's show, Nickelodeon wants to Brawl, Xbox is building more narrative games now than ever, and Rainbow Six Extraction will have cross-play and cross-progression. But before we get going into that, Scott, everybody should be joining us live over at twitch.tv/theofficial ITG, as well as YouTube. But if you can't join us live, then hit us up later InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, breaking news before we even get going into today's show. Good friend of the show, Northern Nerdcast, everybody go check him out, sends us a little tweet of what Blue Box Game Studios is up to and wants to know if we check this out. I just got this thanks to him because it literally just posted 10 minutes ago. Here's what they put. Scott, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
On Blue Box Game Studios Twitter feed, it says, "We have changed the app name from Real-Time Trailers to Real-Time Experience so that the app will release as Real-Time Experience. What can you expect? Multiple trailers with duration between 5 to max 12 minutes, gameplay demonstrations, future live events, and then when available." Dude, what are they doing? What is this? Like, seriously, who does this? This is the most bizarre thing. Blue Box continues to put themselves on a whole other pedigree of game development, press releases and just weird, bizarre crap that I've yet to ever see from any other studio. Dude, this one is, I don't get it. You ever heard of there's an app called YouTube?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Like, I just don't get it, man. I hope this really works out for them because this seems to be such a time crunch and time investment. I'll put it that way. But it's so bizarre, Scott. This is how they're presenting their game. Abandoned, or is it Silent Hill? Is Kojima in on this? Is he not in on this? Is this their own game? Who knows what's going on? But Scott, what a way to get the day started today, buddy.
I think they're driving. I think they've caught on to the idea that these rumors that are going around can be beneficial to them.
Sure.
And this is just a kind of another way of putting information behind doors. Thus, I'm sure is going to spawn a lot of rumors. And if you want to figure out what's actually going on, if it is a Kojima video, for example, we're going to have to go to this app to find it. So they're kind of, they found a way to create their own club, but it does seem a little fanning their own ego.
Exactly, right? Northern Nerdcast says Blue Box Studios making a new streaming service. Like, it's just, man, I don't know. I've never seen anything like it, and it just continues. Like, when you think you've seen enough out of these guys, they keep coming up with something else. And I knew they were working on an app. We all knew that that's what they were developing. What we just don't understand is why, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, the answer is not clear. Unless it's leveraging the rumors, that's the only thing I can think of, because I don't believe there has ever been a video game that has required me to get an app, or a company rather, to get me an app. And we were talking about this just prior to going live. And if they came out with an app for Halo Infinite, I'm not even sure if that excites me.
Right, and everybody knows Halo. Like, Halo's huge. 343 Studios is massive. Like, they have Xbox. They have a pedigree behind them. And if they're not going to pull you in with their app, how is this company out of nowhere going to show up and say, "Hey, if you want to watch our trailers, you have to get this app"? It makes absolutely no sense. This cannot be the only place they're going to demonstrate all of their content. This is not how you release a new game, especially in today's stage where social media, Scott, is everywhere. You don't pigeonhole yourself into one platform and by that make your own platform so that only people can get it there. I don't know, man. This is such a weird thing to see coming out of a brand new studio who wants as much exposure as possible. It's got to be on YouTube as well, right? You think it's going to go to the other press media outlets. Here's our new game. Here it is, finally able to showcase it. They partnered with PlayStation, so PlayStation's going to want to showcase it too. I can't see everybody going to the PlayStation blog and going, "Okay, you want to see Abandoned? Now go download Blue Box's app so you can then watch it." Like, that's not going to happen.
No, you know the big guys in the industry, the big review companies, GameSpot and the like, you know they're just going to pull those videos and upload them themselves onto YouTube. And that kind of just takes the traffic right away. So it's hard to understand the move here, but hopefully there'll be some sort of clarity.
Well, okay, I want to go back to their tweet. It says multiple trailers with durations between 5 to 12 minutes. Okay, cool. Gameplay demonstrations. Okay. Future live events. Yeah, there's another app called Twitch. Scott. So I'm just like, everything here is already done. Why would you want to go and waste resources and money invested into this thing? Like, this better be real impressive, Scott, for us to go get this app and check it out. Because, you know, like you say though, right, more press media info that's out there and more controversy and more, you know, conspiracy theories and stuff like that is really driving Blue Box to this other level of people just need to know what the heck they're doing, because everything here is so convoluted, and what a mess of things. It's just weird to see what is happening.
I'm just holding hope that they will host perhaps a podcast style thing, a different kind of media that we don't see very often.
Okay.
If Hideo Kojima has his own kind of set of videos, what's he working on, his kind of philosophies, that could be a grab. But other than that, yeah, it is hard to understand what their place in the whole social media cornucopia is. It's quite strange.
Absolutely weird, but man, all right, that's 7 minutes into the episode, Scott. We've been talking about Blue Box already. All right, that's enough of them. They're out of here. That's a weird story, Scott. That was out of nowhere. Let's get into something else that is just weird to me as well.
I do have another weird story here. Yes. I want to get into this one personally. Is this the end of Smash Brothers?
No.
That's a hard, bold statement. Okay, I recognize that, but there is a new kid on the block. This is Nickelodeon AllStar Brawl,
man.
It is styled after Smash Bros. This has been announced, and I think I pulled some of this from IGN. They've done a little bit of a look at it, but there has been an exclusive reveal of an upcoming game, which is coming later this year to PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Series X and S, and the Switch. And this game is a multiplayer brawler modeled after the likes of Super Smash Bros. This has up to 4 players getting into the shoes of their favorite Nickelodeon characters. And that may sound strange, but Smash Bros. Took off, was a big hit. There is, Mario Kart. There is actually a Nickelodeon kart that rivals that. So it comes out of a history of kind of making these second iteration type games. But there have been some characters revealed as of the trailer. This is not the full list, but I want to run down some of the characters here because there are a couple standouts and there might be some people's favorites in here too.
Yep.
But I have to say there will be some more, but there is thus far Ablina, Danny Phantom, Helga Pataki, and she's from Hey Arnold, Invader Zim himself, Lincoln Loud and Lucy Loud from the Loud House. I'm not familiar. There is Powdered Toast Man from Ren and Stimpy. I'm very curious to see that character.
Oh, man.
There's Reptar from the Rugrats. And then from SpongeBob, there is SpongeBob himself, Patrick Star, and Sandy Cheeks, basically the big three. Then there is Leonardo and Michelangelo from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have a feeling they'll be a fan favorite. And Nigel Thornberry from the Wild Thornberries is also joining the fight so far.
Scott, none of this speaks to me in the slightest. Not one bit. You and I were talking off camera earlier. I hate SpongeBob. I absolutely hated that show. I will never play this game.
I'm ready to put Smash Bros. Away forever. I think Danny Phantom Main.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm curious in the slightest, and I'm hoping for something interesting out of this.
Oh man, I was shocked to see this kind of come out of left field for me. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I grew up with those characters, right? So they're the only ones that kind of really spoke to me out of this whole list of so far revealed characters. But for me, I'm not a big Smash guy either, right? I have a hard time playing Smash. I'd much rather play Mortal Kombat. But I think this is going to call to somebody. I think that's the biggest thing. And there's a lot of us who grew up on all these characters, right? Like you were saying, your whole generation, Scott, was all about SpongeBob. And man, I cannot stand that cartoon, those characters, anything about that thing. I can't do it, man. I'm not doing that at all.
Well, Smash Bros has been an interesting fighter. Definitely was one of my favorites.
Sure.
But I've played so much Smash Bros that now when it comes to something else kind of stepping into that space, well, to quote SpongeBob, I'm ready.
Oh man, don't do it. All right, I'm ready to move on. Scott, let's get into Rainbow Six Extraction to launch with crossplay and cross progression across all platforms. From day one, players will be able to play with anyone on any platform and carry their progression across all platforms. Rainbow Six Extraction, the 1 to 3 player co-op shooter, will launch full cross-play and cross progression across all platforms. Man, that's a tongue twister. Players will be able to also play their save on any platform using Ubisoft Connect. And dude, they have done this already with Immortals Phoenix Rising. I played it on PC, uploaded it. What they have, so they have a cloud service system with the Ubisoft Connect. It worked fantastic. From there, I carried my progression over onto Google Stadia. Big fan of that platform as well. And there continued on. So I was able to kind of take it and away I go. Downloaded it back to the Ubisoft Connect up in the cloud, back onto my PC, and continued on again. Beautiful system, Scott. Super pumped to see that this is coming. And it's coming on September 16th to Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, PS5, PC, and Stadia. Here's the other thing to take note of, Scott. I want to find it here real quick. There's also a mechanic that is used to punish quitters. So if you quit the match, your operator will also go MIA and be unavailable.
Oh, that's an interesting idea there.
Exactly.
We've seen a lot of issue with, first of all, team killing, but secondly, people to drop early in Rainbow Six Siege, and that there's always a constant battle of how to counter that. I think this is a creative solution. And taking that character right out of the fray, I think that gives a cost to quitting early.
There's going to be 18 characters to unlock as well. So keep that in mind. There's going to be a lot of them. Now, Rainbow is up, I want to say, over the 50 operator mark. So there's definitely going to be some characters missing, but there's going to be quite a few there for us to tackle with and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to playing this game. The ability to go in. It's a co-op game. So if anybody just quits at random, it's going to be kind of... You're there to play with your friends in a co-op situation. It's not like jumping in with Siege, and sometimes you're in there because you're going in with a team of 5. You can't always fill that team. Not everybody's online at the same time or whatever they have going on. So you jump in with 2, 3 people, and then you have 2 other randoms join you. Here, it's only a total of 3 people. But if you jump in solo, you team up with somebody else, and you're like, I ain't liking these guys, and bail out, you're then going to lose your operator. Aliens are going to take them away, and you might have to go free them again, I think is what the scenario plays out to be. So I think that was a cool touch, man.
Yeah, that's creative. I like that idea. And it affects subsequent games. I think that's really the way to do it. I'm still hoping, not confirmed, I want Tachanka. That's the character I want to play in this game. But I'm not sure if he's been confirmed. I haven't seen anything explicitly naming him.
No, me either. I know my girl Habana is in there, so she's going to be there. That's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do. But again, Habana's ability is to break down, reinforced walls. So man, she's like one of my mains. I definitely use her all the time. And I saw that she's in there. She's in the trailer, so I know that she's already a part of that. Lion was in there as well, and a few other characters. So, there's Lion Finka, so they're already there too. There's lots to unravel here, and I think we're gonna be in for, dude, September is it is going to be crazy how many games are launching this September. Brad and I were just talking about it on Monday, actually. And then here's another game to add to that list of September. Dude, we gotta double our team size just to cover all these things. That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it's not letting up anytime soon. I feel like we've been in overdrive mode since last spring.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. All right, Scott, let's move on because we still have a lot to talk about and not a lot of time. Thanks, Blue Box. Phil Spencer reckons Xbox is building more narrative games than ever. These games are risky but valuable, Spencer says. Xbox boss Phil Spencer says the platform is investing more heavily into narrative-driven games, likely more so than any other point in Xbox history. In a recent interview with The Guardian, Spencer discussed the company's approach to what are defined here as traditional forms of narrative games for Xbox Series X. In other words, games that aren't multiplayer-led, always on, or perhaps live service experiences. Quote, I think we're probably building more of those now than we've ever been in the history of Xbox, Spencer explains. Also, another quote here says platform holders, whether that platform is subscription or hardware device or a store, are actively investing in new and probably more risky things, because if it works, we get value out of bringing players into the ecosystem, end quote. We already know of several Xbox games in development that fit this description. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 is one of those for sure. Avowed is another one. And Obsidian is also working on, what's their other one, Scott? The Outer Worlds 2. And we know Elder Scrolls is in development as well. So all these titles are something that we're going to be looking towards getting. And it's funny because years ago, EA said narrative games are dead.
Well, this is quite a change of direction from the release of, remember the Xbox One's reveal, where it had to be online all the time, and you had to check in so many hours, and that whole fiasco. It did not work out well for them. So I'm glad that they've reassessed and kind of, in one way or the other, changed gears to work on more narrative-driven stuff. And I think it will overall work out. I'm sure we're going to get some less than favorable games that come out of that. Then without a multiplayer to kind of keep it going, they'll just be a flash and then gone. But we've seen games like The Medium just take off and become insanely popular over a short period of time because people have that hunger for a story-driven game. I always favor those instead of the multiplayer-only games. Yeah. So this is absolutely good news for me.
No, me too. Like, my main focus is just like, dude, sometimes you're just not up for a multiplayer experience. You just want to be able to, follow a heavy story-driven experience, and that's what that one did. Like, I just finished up Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2, which was single-player only, and I had a fantastic time. I put in 20 hours, and I'm done. Now I'm out, right? And I want that. The thing that narrative experiences give you, Scott, is a sense of completion. Right? You wrap up the story, you're like, awesome. Either you liked it or you didn't, but you're able to finish something. Online, dude, you're never done, right? You play around a Fortnite, great, back into the next one, right? And it never ends. Or
they invent and they surround their game with all these different mechanisms to keep the grind going, and that has fatigued me over the years now. Ever since Call of Duty 4. I've been playing those kind of games with those kind of systems without feeling gratification from completing it. You're very correct on that. And I think just it's gone on for far too long. And now the consumer has spoken up, and it's good that some people are listening.
Well, so we saw, like, even if we rewind time a little bit, you saw EA shut down studios because, remember 1313, the Star Wars game that we never got? Dude, that was a single player experience. Amy Hennig was in on this stuff, right? Like, you bring the creator or one of the top writers of Uncharted, you bring them over to your company to create a Star Wars narrative driven game. You shut it down and say, well, narrative games just aren't really that popular. Now, I guess we've had a resurgence in them because you find the game industry kind of goes in waves, right? All of a sudden it's all story, then Battle Royale hit, and then online services. Like, there's this influx of things that keep rotating through. And I think now that we've had the Battle Royales, we've had the games of service mentality with, like, the Division 2, where you're constantly going back, or the Destiny 2, where you keep going in each day, checking in and checking in and checking in. Sometimes, eventually, that just wears on you, and you kind of wear out a little bit, and you want to be able to focus back onto a narrative driven thing. Dude, give me 1313. I really wanted that bounty hunter experience to see what we're going to have and get out of that one. I'd love to see that one come back. Somebody needs to pick that up. I don't know if you get it out of EA. I'm not sure how that one works, but it would be awesome to see.
Well, Star Wars is a great example because Jedi Fallen Order took off, was absolutely explosive. Everybody loved that game, as far as I've heard.
Absolutely.
And it totally opened people's eyes to what a Star Wars experience could be. Prior to that, we had Battlefront 2, and that angered a lot of people. It wasn't what anybody was looking for. So, but Star Wars as a property can tell those awesome narrative stories, and that's just a good example. There's many of those series that could come back.
Yeah, so we'll see if EA now kind of falls back on their words a little bit. Maybe they'll green light again the 1313, because that's what, dude, like you say, Scott, the Fallen Order took off. Respawn's working on the Fallen Order 2 right now. They've got to be working on it because everybody was so thirsty for that game. And when we played it, dude, we completed it, no multiplayer whatsoever. And now what, right? There's no DLC. I'm waiting for more content. That's not going to happen. We're probably just going to get a sequel. I'm okay with that. Give me the sequel.
Yeah. And
I'll be right back to it, man.
I would rather see a fully developed sequel with an interesting story continuation for Cal Kestis that actually does more to service the consumer than the DLC would have been.
Oh,
Sure, they could have added a couple planets and extended the storyline, but it just isn't going to have that same level of content or amount of content than a sequel will. And without that DLC, I think there's more of a hunger for a sequel than there would have been.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right, Scott. Buddy, let's move on. We're already at the end of the show, dude, like always. Let's get into game releases, updates, and announcements for today. What do we have?
Well, we have Hanako, Honor and Blade. This is a samurai multiplayer game of life and destruction. I like the explanation for that. This is set to launch on Steam September 15th. So they've pinned down a date for that. We'll see if that holds, but hopefully it does. And today we have 2 releases only. There's Skydome coming to the PC, and Space Punks is releasing in early access on PC. Space Punks, that has me curious.
Dude, I looked at the trailer. I watched the trailer, and Space Punks reminds me of a little of Borderlands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it has this Borderlands art aesthetic to it. That I was kind of like, huh. And then from there, I'm not really sure what else it kind of entails. It looks like a bit of a just a shooter of some sort. Early access, people can jump in, take a quick look, and see what's going on. You gonna jump into that one, take a look?
I'm curious. Yes, I will take a look at that one.
Awesome. Well, buddy, that's going to wrap up today's show. Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. And don't forget, you can always join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube. If you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. I'm Drew. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only Scott Savage. He's on Twitter at Savage. Until tomorrow, everybody, we'll see you inside the game.